Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing with our guest. Tokwe had a question before the break.
Yes, so first, gush over the committee. Really excited about this committee, but I have learned not to be so excited about committees in Nigeria because we have had several amazing committees that have put together solutions in several documents that are lying somewhere around the ministries that we haven't implemented. So while Nigerians are hopeful for change in taxes, is there any law backing up your time, this 1 year time you are dedicating to helping to, with the help of 60 other people, reform our tax system? How are we sure that it will not be a waste? How are we sure that what you're putting together will actually be implemented? That's one. Number two, how can you help address some industry-specific challenges? And I'll give an example of my industry, real estate. We have to be a member of Redan. You're paying. You have to join Las Rera because you are in Lagos. You are paying. You are also going to pay the government taxes as well. Then the local government where you are paying. So there are multiple, and I don't know if that is some of the things that you are looking at in your committee, if there's any solution to those kind of industry-specific challenges, because I know it cuts across. Thank you.
Yeah, very good question. So on the first one about, we've had all manners of committees before, and I do agree with you, which is why I was smiling as you were asking the question. And then the reports are always very beautiful, and then we don't implement. This was something Mr. President was very mindful of, and that's why intentionally for this committee, it's not a committee to write a report and submit it after 1 year and then hope and pray that it will be implemented. No, from day one that we start this work, which is, I'll say effectively today, if we come up with an idea tomorrow, I mean literally tomorrow, and we push it to the relevant approving authority, which could be Mr. President, it could be National Economic Council, it could be Federal Revenue Service, whoever it is that by law has the power to approve it, once it's been approved, to implement it, we then go ahead and implement it. For example, if we say that, we don't want to have all these 50-something taxes that are creating problems in Nigeria, once it's approved, we're going to write a bill to repeal all of them, right? And we take it to the National Assembly and we pass it while we're still continuing with our work. So one thing that makes this, committee very exciting for us is that additional authority, and I would say also the opportunity to implement alongside our recommendation. And we're hopeful that this will make a big difference, that even after we're done with this important national assignment, we can then copy this. Even other countries, some countries in Africa have reached out to me already and they say, well, this seems exciting. We're going to be watching what you're doing. So this can become a template for government going forward. So you stop writing reports and you start doing work. Now, to your second question about industry-specific challenges, yeah, I know very well that those challenges are all over the place. Whether it's real estate, whether it's creative industry and entertainment, whether it's professional services, whether it's manufacturing, there's no one sector in Nigeria, even farming, right? So you would have thought that people should just be, nice to farmers. Even farming, they have their own challenges. So what we're going to do is, again, we will not claim to know everything. We will engage with everyone. Very soon you see the list of our stakeholder engagements. Once we engage with them, we'll understand from their points of view. We'll start with what governments can deal with. Now, if associations decide to impose levies on themselves, there's not a lot government can do about that. We can only just encourage them to consider, because sometimes some of these problems are self-imposed by associations. Some people are already there. They want others from coming. You see all manner of ridiculous levies and charges that they impose on them. For those things, we just appeal to Nigerians to say, at the end of the day, this is about our country, and we have to live for a purpose that is bigger than ourselves or our very, narrowly focused areas of interest.
Right.
Okay, so in the papers I read, when you were talking about the existing laws being outdated, and, I was just thinking also of what you've just said about new bills that will be ushered, in the old bills that would be repealed and new ones that would encompass what you're about to do. But I wonder what authority, like we know what you do at the federal level, and at the state level, if there's no harmony, how is that going to work out? And the team itself, are we going to have local hubs in the different states that work directly with you at the federal level?
Yeah, so the membership of the committee cuts across all the 6 geopolitical zones, so which means those people who live in those places, we're not going to create offices because we also don't want to be accused of something we believe is wrong, which is this very high cost of governance and even of administering the revenue system in Nigeria. So we're going to only just have an office in Abuja and one in Lagos. The rest of it will be done when we're having engagement. We'll visit some states, so that will be physical, but we'll not create offices in those different places. So that's to address, the second part of your question about how we, covered the whole of Nigeria.
Okay.
So your question around, yes.
First question.
Oh, he's asking.
Okay, let me let Toby jump in here. Toby, go
Okay.
ahead.
I like how you beautifully allayed the fears of the common man. And I'm rephrasing your words. What I hear you say is that we're not coming for the common man. But then again, I'm thinking off my head that what plans do we expect to widen the tax net so as to reduce the overdependence of borrowing to fund government expenditure? Because that has been one of the major problems in Nigeria, such that we keep borrowing to fund government expenditure.
So the areas where we're looking to find the money, we think the money is there, we just need to find it and put it in the right places. So there's a tax gap, which means as of today, if you just look at VAT alone, right, or look at personal income tax, you'll find that there are people who buy brand new cars and they don't pay the VAT. There are people who go to very expensive restaurants and they don't pay VAT. I've seen a manifest of importation of armored vehicles. So these are bulletproof, brand new vehicles, and they were declared at very ridiculous amount, I think even like 2 million naira. Wow. So those guys clearly have the ability to pay. They just decide not to pay, and there has been little or no consequences. That's what we want to change for our country. These same people that are doing the wrong thing, they will not go to the UK or the US after they relocated and do that, right? If it's right to do something in a developed country where things work, why do you then do otherwise in your own country, which is really the only place you can call home? We also have issues to do with incentives. So there are some incentives that were, they were sensible 20 years ago, but we did nothing about them, and today they are not making sense anymore. There's a cost-benefit analysis of if I'm giving away 1 naira as government by way of incentive, the value I'm getting in return must be more than 1 naira. Otherwise, there's no point. Some of those incentives are even distortive, such that they don't allow the market, principles to operate effectively, because someone has assets, they can get incentive. Another person does not know anyone, they can't get incentive, and therefore they cannot compete in the same market. The cost of collection is also very high. We collect so little in revenue, but our cost of collection is one of the highest in the world. So can we bring that down? Internationally, the cost of collecting revenue is around 1%. For Nigeria, it ranges between 5 to 10%. That's way too high. And also you can see, by just harmonizing revenue collection functions, instead of having 63 MDAs at the federal government level, you have only one. That in itself saves you a lot of money. So these combined impacts of tax gap, efficiency of collection, harmonizing or rationalizing incentives are the areas we think that the money will come from. That's why Mr. President was confident to say that we're not going to tax poverty, we're not going to introduce new taxes, yet he said that we would collect more, such that in the next 2 to 3 years, we have our GDP, tax to GDP ratio in the region of 18%, which is slightly above the African average as we speak.
And I know I have to wrap up with you because you have to go somewhere, but the truth is that, I'm just worried. My only worry is that I hope other agencies will be able to work with you. I mean, you might have conflicting roles with FIRS, for example. Other agencies, I know the president has said everybody must cooperate with the committee. So I'm hoping the Nigerian faction won't play a part where we'll be having issues. But we're wishing you all the best, Mr. Oyedele, with your team. And we hope that because we are friends of you, the House, you'll be coming at least once a month, be giving us reports too on what you're doing. We'd like to hear from you as often as possible to give us an update on how the committees is faring.
Yes, we'll be very happy to give a regular update because we think that this is national service and Nigerian people are ultimately our employers and we owe the responsibility to be accountable to them. So we're going to put out our mandate in more detail so that you can actually hold us to account about the promises we make. And the question you asked previously was, how do we ensure that, you know, the sub-national, when you're passing the law and all of that, come on board? Yes. We think that they all mean well for our country. Sometimes it's the approach that is different. And all you need to do is to give people a reason to believe that your approach will work better and let them own it. So we're going to co-create these solutions with all Nigerians, including governors, as well as the man and woman on the street. And when we present to the National Assembly, it will not be our ideas. It will be the ideas of Nigerians that we want, lawmakers, who are equally representing Nigerians. I'm sure that they've already said to us that they're not going to stop us from doing our job. So we have the support from the lawmakers, we have from the executive, we have from sub-national, we have from the organized private sector. Actually, there's nothing we need again that we don't have.
Yeah.
And the political will is very, very encouraging now, more than anything we've seen in the recent past in Nigeria. So whatever we cannot do now, we should not blame God about it. We should blame ourselves. But I'm so positive Nigerians are on board. So exciting times ahead.
You've been with PricewaterhouseCoopers for many years. We trust you. We know you know what you're doing, and we're looking forward to the best. Good luck and all the best with you and your team.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go on a quick break now. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.